Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Adriana. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to some of your speaking and your pronunciation practice test and give you some comments. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I want to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and start with your first speaking task. And I'll play it once, and then I'll play it again in parts and try to give you some comments as I go. So it looks like the first one that you're doing right now, it's called Characteristic and an Ideal Marriage Partner, and it looks like you're redoing this particular speaking task. So let's see how you did.
In my view, two characteristics are essential for an ideal marriage partner, and these are compatibility and attraction. Firstly, compatibility is very important because if I have to spend the rest of my life with someone, it's a huge commitment. And without compatibility in values, goals, and interests, it could be a struggle rather than a partnership. Secondly, attraction is also an important characteristic in an ideal marriage partner. For example, since fidelity is part of the marriage contract, the expression of love should be limited to my partner. So, that person should be a person I'm attracted to.
Okay, so with this one, I think you did better with the pronunciation, the word compatibility, and also the word fidelity. So I didn't notice any major problems in terms of your intelligibility. And your speaking task, in terms of organization, I think was strong. You had a good topic statement in the beginning. You more or less outlined your two key points of your speech. Then you used the transition words firstly and secondly to organize the key points, and you gave some examples to support each of those ideas. So your intelligibility was strong, your control of your grammar and your language use was strong, and also you had a good, strong organization of ideas. So I think this would definitely score 26 points or higher on the TOEFL IBT. All right, so let's move ahead. So in the next one, you're doing some practice exercises, the T and the D. This is a little bit difficult for you, right? Because the T, we have to produce this sound with more aspiration, and it's also what's called a voiceless consonant, which means that the vocal folds are not vibrating when you produce this particular sound. Okay, so let me go into the book here and take a look at the practice exercises that you're working on. So you're doing the T and the D, and I think this was a homework assignment I gave to you. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Actually, Earth's density is
Okay, I'm back. So let's go ahead and listen to this one.
due in part to gravitational compression. If not for this, Mercury would be denser than Earth.
Okay, good. So in this one, just be careful of the word it. This. This is something that you're having some trouble with. You're substituting the E for the I vowel sound.
If we examine words other than hand, we find many additional instances where each of these three families is characterized by different looking roots, just as in the case of hand.
Okay, that was good, pretty good.
By the 1980s, the downburst and microburst were being studied as unique phenomena.
Don't forget the word A as a unique phenomena.
Generated by things such as an intrusion of dry air. At long last, we had a way to distinguish tornado damage from damage of non-tornading winds. Another sign of intelligence, thought to be absent in most non-human animals, is the ability to engage in complex.
We'll take the word the ability, not the ability, no, it's the ability.
Meaningful communication. Only recently has the general perception of parrots as mindless mimics been shown to be incorrect.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Several tools have been developed to help land users identify unstable slopes. Slope maps, geology maps, and landslide deposit maps are available for public inspection at Santa Cruz County Planning Department.
Okay, that was good. So no, I think you're doing pretty well with the T sound here, and also the D sound. So you just have to keep remembering, when you're doing spontaneous conversational English, just remember to produce the t with more air. All right, let's take a look at the paragraph
The other
reading.
method of stretching is ballistic, which involves bouncing in your stretch. This is very unadvisable for many reasons, including that you may injure yourself by damaging your muscle fibers.
So some problems with pausing there. So let me read that sentence with you. This is very unadvisable for many reasons, including that you may injure yourself by damaging your muscle fibers. Notice the pause is after yourself. You may injure yourself by damaging your muscle fibers.
Also, biology provided your body with two protective
Don't forget with two protective mechanisms. Let me listen to that one more time.
One
That
senses
T.
to yourself by damaging your muscle fibers. Also, biology provided your body with two protective mechanisms.
That's good. Okay, good. Not bad. So the T and the P there, you are producing those sounds with enough air.
One senses to that the muscle is overstretched.
I'm not sure what you were saying there. One senses. Let me listen to that again.
Damaging your muscle fibers. Also, biology provided your body with two protective mechanisms. One senses to that the muscle.
You put a word two in there, but it's just one senses that a muscle is overstretched.
And sends you pain signals. The other is called the stretch reflex and
stretch.
Senses to that the muscle is overstretched and sends you pain signals. The other is called the stretch reflex and
that's more the STR combination there, the stretch. You're saying more stretch, but stretch.
Is there to protect from overstretching. By a reflex action, it contracts the stretched muscle to make it a shock absorber and also halt to stretch before the muscle is injured.
Okay, not bad. Just remember the word stretch.
Because of the stretch reflex, the stretched muscles shorten, preventing you from reaching a fully stretched position. Continuing to stretch this way is detrimental in the long run as your body will start to adapt against it and you may find it difficult to stretch properly at all.
Okay, not bad. So I think you're definitely going in the right direction here. Okay, so let me just give you a couple of practice exercises. I want you to practice with me right now. I want you to repeat the pairs of words, focusing on the T and the D. Tip, dip. Cart, card. Tight, tide. Butt, bud. Brett, bread. Fraught, fraud. Train, drain. Fat, fad. Pat, pad. Team, deem. All right, let's go to the next one. So we're now getting into, it looks like, lesson number 24. You're practicing what's called the interdental voiced and voiceless consonants, the TH sound. So sometimes the TH is a voiceless sound. It's like the word thigh. and sometimes the word is a voice sound, as in the word thy. All right, so let's take a look at these. I'm going to go ahead and find the lessons here. You can see which ones you're doing. Okay, here we go. The theta, they call it. Okay, here it is. This is going to be a tough one. And this is a lesson.
Otherwise, three thirsty Orthodox religious leaders will conduct a thorough meeting to solve those community problems.
Okay, maybe the word three. Just be careful. Three.
After these men decided thence to go past the college, thereby missing their third period class, they theorized that the theme of homecoming should be military couples of the past.
Okay, you're getting it. So when you have a whole bunch of those words involving that sound in a sequence, that's where you're struggling a little bit. Like, they theorized that the theme, but you're getting it. The whole purpose of going through these exercises is to get your vocal tract more accustomed to producing these sounds.
The thyroid gland can cause thyself to become fat and shortly, thereafter causing heart disease.
Okay, not bad.
Anthony was treated by anthrax, which was brought into his farm by a mother moth.
Okay, good.
I would rather either the ether or the Clorox be used as worthy cleaning agent worth more than its weight in feathery feathers.
Ha! That was hard for you. Feathery feathers. Feathery feathers. And the other one is either the ether, so ether, E-T-H-E-R, the chemical, that's a voiceless consonant sound, but the word either, that's a voice consonant sound, so that was a little bit hard for you. Let's read this one together here. So I would rather either the ether or the Clorox be used as a worthy cleaning agent worth more than its weight in feathery feathers. Okay, now you're getting into the paragraph reading.
Another benefit of exercising is that it increases bone mass.
So you struggled with that sentence a little bit. Let's read it again. Another benefit of exercising is that it increases bone mass. So really your pause maybe is right after exercising. That's the only time you want to pause in that idea again. Another benefit of exercising is that it increases bone mass.
Another benefit of exercising is that it increases bone mass.
There you go, that's much better.
It is important to keep healthy and strong bones because they provide movement and protect our internal organs.
Good, and good pronunciation of that P sound, also the TH sound.
Osteoporosis is the loss of bone mass and strength, which increases the risk of bone fractures. This is most common in elderly women. Research has shown that regular exercise increases bone mass and strength and prevents bone loss in the elderly and is used to treat osteoporotic patients.
Good. So you almost forgot that treat, but you corrected yourself on that. So pretty good. Okay, now let's read it together. Another benefit of exercising is that it increases bone mass. It is important to keep healthy and strong bones because they provide movement and protect our internal organs. Osteoporosis is the loss of bone mass and strength, which increases the risk of fractures. This is most common in elderly women. Research has shown that regular exercise increases bone mass and strength and prevents bone loss in the elderly and is used to treat osteoporotic patients. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's move ahead. So the next one you're getting into It's called practice test rhythm, intonation, and thought groups. Let's see what you're doing here.
Act, active, actively, activity. Compete, competed, competitive, competitively.
Okay, I think right now you're doing the pronunciation pretest, the second part of my Speak Clearly course. Am I right? Okay, so let me go ahead and find the web page where you're at, or where you are right now. I always say where you are at right now, but when you use the word where, you don't need to say at. You just say where you are. That's kind of redundant. So, okay, let's go to the website. To that second pretest. And as we go through the pretest, I'll start and stop as appropriate if I think you're having any problems with any of the exercises there. And sorry for being a little late getting to this particular your practice exercises. I flew to Georgia yesterday, so I was tied up all day long at the airport, and I just didn't have a chance to get to my computer. Okay, I got it. So this is a Speak Clearly lesson number 25. Okay, let me go back.
Compete, competed, competitive, competitively. Humid, humidify, humidifier, dehumidifier. Budget, budgeted, budgetary. Marriage patterns in rural Turkey are noticeably influenced by endogamous preference within both villages and kinship groups. Pay, pays, pot, pots, run, runs, cough, cough, pass, passed, saved, judged, sorted, sifted, planted, circumstances. Conditioning, associate, techniques, discussion, resurrected, consecutive, dysfunctional, retreat, positive, classical, religious.
This is good so far.
Harmony, provide, air conditioner, glass cleaner, myself, themselves. 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50.
Now be careful that word, again, that TH sound. 13. Not 13, but 13. 13. Now you're putting the stress in the right area, don't get me wrong, but just remember 13.
16, 60, 17,
Your
70,
word stress is good here.
18, 90, 18, 80, 19, 90. Downwind, outdoors, break into, take out. The conduct of the conductor was inappropriate. She objected to being an object of his affection. Disrespect, interlock, outpace.
Now I'm going to say you need to focus on this particular lesson. So this is lesson number 31. When you have the word, it's more like downwind, outdoors, break into, take out. So when you have these two-part words, usually these are compound words or you have a particle after the verb. The stress is on the second part of those words actually. So I'd like you to really take a look at lesson number 31. This is going to be good for you.
Say GPA, CEO, academic, analytical, diversity, fortify, cardiology, discussion, geography, cautious, Canadian, chronological, absentee, overseer, Vietnamese, picturesque, technique, corvette, educate, education, motivate, motivation, operate, operation.
Okay, again, I'd like to have you take a look at this lesson too. Lesson number 32. You might want to write this down. The main thing here is when you have stress on that final syllable, that's not what you're sure about. Absentee, overseer, Vietnamese. So there are certain words that if there's a certain ending at the end of that word, the primary stress is going to lie on that word. Now also I'd like to have you pay attention to abbreviations: USA, GPA, CEO. So the stress will be equally on all of those letters in those acronyms, or those abbreviations. So far we have 2 lessons I want you to review.
Overrated, he ate it. Position, he fixed it. Assume, a broom. Cool bike, cool biker, coolest biker. The player left the game in the 4th quarter. Mr. Jones is grading his papers today. Can you give me a burger with cheese?
Now, what I'm testing you right now is your sentence rhythm, and you're definitely not stressing every single word in the sentence, and you shouldn't. So your sentence rhythm is actually pretty good. Sentence rhythm, Adriana, is the combination of your stress and unstressed words in the language.
Talk with you. How's your homework coming along? Sue can go to the store. Sue can't go to the store. She can run the whole distance. She can't run the whole distance. She was at his house yesterday. She wasn't at his house yesterday. Jane could take the other workers. Jane couldn't take to the other workers.
So you're misreading that particular sentence. It's talk. Jane could talk to the other workers. Jane couldn't talk to the other workers. This is lesson 35. I want you to go ahead and study this lesson, especially with can versus can't. Sue can go to the store. Sue can't go to the store. So you're having some small difficulty differentiating between what's called the positive modal and the negative one.
Did John go to the game last week? John went to the game yesterday.
This is good
What do you
sentence
want to
stress.
do? What do you want to do? What are your...
Okay, I'm actually testing your tone here. And the second one, this is lesson 36. It's what do you want to do? The second speaker wants to know A's opinion. It's what do you want to do? So you're not really reading that right. It's what do you want to do? And that would be the second speaker wants to know what the first speaker's opinion is. So that's lesson 36. You might want to write that one down. And I'm really giving you all the examples of all sorts of what's called tone and stress that is in the English language to see what kinds of problems you're having in any of those areas.
What are you working on? I'm working on a composition. What kind of composition? It's a history composition. When is it due? When is it due? It is due Friday morning.
This I also would like to have you take a look at. This is lesson 37. The main thing is in a sentence, we have what's called a focus word. The focus word is typically the most important word in the sentence, and typically it's either a noun, an adjective, an adverb, or a verb. Now that focus word needs to have more stress, higher pitch, and maybe even a pause after it. So what are you working on? I'm working on a composition. What kind of composition? It's a history composition. When is it due? It is due Friday morning. So I think you can work on that just a little bit more. And that's all we're doing right now. Is this second pretest is a diagnostic to see how well you can handle the more advanced features of English.
There is an advantage and a disadvantage to your idea. Did she go on vacation in the summer? It was the winter when she went on vacation. That was a great movie. I will say it was good. Why did you return the book? Why didn't you return? Why didn't you return the book to the library? You are wrong. I did return the book to the library.
Okay, this is a lot of trouble for you right here. So first of all, if you have two different choices, there is an advantage and a disadvantage to your idea. So the first choice, it has to have more stress. The inflection kind of rises at the end of the word, and then when you get to the second choice, the inflection or tone falls at the end. So also with the second one, did she go on a vacation in the summer? So the winter is clearly different from summer. So you're saying it was the winter when she went on vacation. So you have to put a lot of focus and stress on winter because it's different from the word summer, which is what the first speaker said. The next one, that was a great movie. It's I'll say it was good. That was a great movie. I'll say it was good. So to show strong agreement, you have to change your tone a lot in that particular sentence. And the same thing goes the last one. Why didn't you return the book? You're wrong. I did return the book to the library. So you have to put a lot of stress on the word did, because did contradicts the first speaker's statement. Again, you're wrong. I did return the book to the library. That would be how you would stress that particular idea. So that's lesson number 38. Okay, let's keep going, see how you're doing.
I like apples, bananas, oranges, lemons, and grapes. She has 12 members in her family. She has 12 members. She has 12 members.
No, not at all, no. It would be like this. You have to show extreme surprise or emphatic surprise. So she has 12 members in her family. You go, she has 12 members? Really? Wow. So speaker B's tone has to be more of a question, and even it needs to show surprise, because obviously not all families have 12 members. That's an unusually large family. So the second speaker needs to show unexpected surprise after hearing that particular idea. Okay, let's keep going.
My phone number is 888-9002. Did you say 888-9002?
No. Again, we have to use contrastive stress because you're trying to clarify the third digit in the sequence of numbers there. So my phone number is 888-9002, and you're saying, did you say 888-9002? So by putting more stress and pitch on the word 8, you're asking the first speaker if is it the right number. Maybe it was 6, maybe it was 5. I want to know if that is the right number. So did you say 888-9002?
I want to leave Johnny. I want to leave Johnny. I'm going.
This one, either you're speaking about Johnny or to Johnny, so again the tone rises. The first one, if you're speaking about Johnny, I want to leave Johnny. Now if you're speaking to Johnny, I want to leave Johnny. Johnny, you see what I'm saying? I want to leave Johnny. So you're speaking directly to Johnny.
To the United States. Where? I'm going to the United States. Where?
Yeah, that was good.
23-foot long sticks.
You did that. That was good.
23-foot long sticks.
Okay, not bad on the pausing.
Where are you going? I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going to Los Angeles.
Good.
Bobby Thompson, who lives in my neighborhood, is coming to visit tomorrow.
You're almost there, but not quite. When you're pausing after a thought group, at the end of the thought group, the tone has to rise, and then you have a pause. You'll say, Bobby Thompson, that's one thought group, who lives in my neighborhood, is coming to visit tomorrow. Now, when you get to the end, the third thought group, you have to put a falling tone at the end, because that tells the speaker that you're done with that particular idea, right? Now, the other thing that's tricky about thought groups is you also want to blend all the words within the thought group. For example, I say, who lives in my neighborhood, because all that's one thought group. I don't want to say who lives in my neighborhood. So again, Bobby Thompson, who lives in my neighborhood, is coming to visit tomorrow.
Very ordinary looking. Vampire bats weight about
So your
1
tone needs to
ounce, and have a
rise
body
at the
which
end of
is
that
the
first
size
thought
of an
group.
adult's thumb. Adult thumb.
Adult.
Sir Francis Galton, a cousin of Charles Darwin, was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding. Can you hold up the painting for me?
So you can probably work, I'm actually testing in lesson 43, blending. So you have a cousin of Charles Darwin was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding. So let me listen to that one more time.
Vampire bats weigh about 1 ounce and have a body which is the size of an adult's thumb.
Now what I'm trying to figure out is, in this next sentence that you're reading, number one, I think you're pretty good at identifying the thought groups. The thing that you want to work on is to make the tone rise at the end of each thought group except the last one, and then you want to blend the words within each thought group. Let's see how you're doing.
Adult thumb. Sir Francis Galton, a cousin of Charles Darwin, was interested in the measure.
No, this is what's hard for you. So it was interested in, not interested in, but was interested in the measurement of intelligence. So you are struggling with those thought groups, and particularly blending.
Of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding. Can you hold up the painting for me? I wore a light sweater to the football game. Maybe you should ask Kenneth. He may know the answer.
Okay, so here, let's take a look at this one. So now we've finished this second pretest. I can give you some feedback now, I think. So I already gave it to you as we went through the lessons. So here's what I recommend here. Now, I recommend that you go through all the lessons anyway, so you can get feedback from me specifically, and that's, of course, you're paying me to do that, right? But one thing I think would be good, I want you to really pay particular attention to these lessons. Lesson 31, Lesson 32, Lesson 35, 36, 37, 38, 42, 43, and also 44. Those will be important lessons for you right now. For you to make the changes that you want to make with your pronunciation, you definitely want to focus in those areas. Alright? Okay, let's go on. Now we have 3 different questions. I'm going to look at these as kind of like, I'm not going to look at them exactly as TOEFL speaking tasks, but let's go ahead and listen to the first one. So it says, talk about a recent vacation you went on. What did you do?
A recent vacation that I went on was last summer to California.
No, I would say it was last summer when I went to California, maybe.
And I can say it was my favorite one because I had the opportunity to visit many famous places such as Beverly Hills, Hollywood, Universal Studio, and also I could have the opportunity to visit 2 of the famous zoos in the world, Wild Animal Park and San Diego Zoo, and
that would be Wild Animal Park.
I could see wild animals in their real life setting, which was.
Now, if this were a TOEFL speaking task, it really isn't, but if it were, it would be a disaster because you talked about too many different things in the beginning, and you're not going to have enough time to explain or describe each of those things that you did on your vacation. You talked about Hollywood, Universal Studios, the Wild Animal Park, the San Diego Zoo. That's too many different things, so it's not possible to bring up all those ideas and adequately describe them in the speech.
A powerful learning experience for me. I
Take the word powerful, a powerful.
like to visit California because, in my opinion, California has everything: mountains, beaches, the perfect weather, and if you look for something and you cannot find it, maybe it's under construction. On the other hand, what I do not like about California and that trip is that was too short. In fact, I could stay only a few days and I couldn't finish visiting all of the nice places.
So the word finish. Now, if we want to get into TOEFL speaking here, the only problem with the speech from an organizational standpoint is you started off with a whole bunch of ideas, big ideas, general ideas, but you didn't really describe each of those ideas. And then when you get to the end of the speech, you're still kind of talking about some big general type ideas. So you didn't really give any specific examples to help support some of these ideas. So you simply talked about too many different things. So for TOEFL speaking, you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one says, what is your favorite hobby? Describe it. Why do you enjoy it so much? So that's really, this is a three-part question. So number one, name the hobby. Number two, give a description. And then talk about why you like it, right? So let's see how you do here.
Personally speaking, my favorite hobby is exercising outdoor because this
Okay, exercising outdoors.
offer me the opportunity to be surrounded by nature and also help me be fit and energetic.
There. Now that seems to be more organized than the speech before. So you actually have two specific things that you want to talk about. Now let's see if you actually develop those ideas. Sometimes people bring up 2 points in the beginning of their speech, but then they change to some entirely different idea and don't really provide examples to support those. So let's listen to what you said briefly again. Here we go.
Help me be fit and energetic. First of all, practicing outdoor activities such as gardening, jogging, horseback riding, or mountain climbing helps me to be in the middle of nature, and this makes me feel happy and relaxed because only nature can offer me freedom, relaxation, and peace of mind.
There, that's not bad. So you, in the beginning, you talked about you like to be outdoors and exercising allows you that possibility. You can enjoy the outdoors. And then you actually gave some examples of different outdoor activities that you could do that would allow you to see nature. So that was a good strategy.
Additionally, practicing all those form of exercises help me to keep in a very good shape, not only physically but also psychically.
You want to say not psychically, but psychologically, right? So you're saying that, and it was a little bit wordy how you said that. Let's go back to what you just did there. I'm going to show you a more concise way to
Good
express the
shape,
idea.
not only physically but also psychically. For keep in a very good shape, not only physically but also psychically.
So you're saying that it helps me to stay in good physical and psychological conditioning. That's probably a better way to express that idea. Remember, psychologically. Now, psychically, now that's different. We have what's called psychics. A psychic is somebody who tells your future by looking at your hands, and they use these stars and that. And that we're not even talking about that. You want to use the word psychologically.
For these reasons, I assert that my favorite hobby is exercising outdoors.
Okay, that second speech I think was much better than that first speaking task you did, because in the first speaking task you simply had too many different ideas with really not enough specific detail for each of those ideas. But your second speech, you actually limited your discussion to 2 points, and then you did give some examples to help support each of those ideas. So that was a much more limited, a more focused type speaking task. To me, it had more depth. You had more depth to the second speaking task than you did the first speaking task.
In my estimation, one thing that I would like to change in my home country is the healthcare system.
Okay, so that's the third question is, what is one change you would like to make about your country? This is a dangerous question because, of course, there's many changes that we could make about our country, but you want to talk about one. And you mentioned healthcare.
Because this system is getting worse day by day due to the lack of funds. I'll start by saying that
To the lack of, I'm not sure what you said there. Let me go back for a minute.
Day by day due to the lack of funds. Our service
The lack of, I don't know that word.
system is getting worse day by day due to the lack of funds.
The lack of tons? I'm not sure what that word
Saying
is.
that all of the medical services in my home country are provided by the government, and for this reason, the quality is not very high. For example, you cannot access any private doctor or nurse because all of them are enforced to work in the state hospitals. As a result, if you don't have any connections or relations, you cannot take care of you, and sometimes you cannot get.
I would say you cannot take care of you. No, you cannot take care of yourself. I think the reflexive pronoun would work better in that case. You cannot take care of yourself.
Medical treatment because
And the word treatment, medical treatments.
one hospital or pharmacy runs out of money.
So your third speech, I'm not really looking at these. This wasn't really a speaking practice test, but it was just a chance to get you to speak naturally for a few minutes so I could pay more attention to your pronunciation. But that third speech you did, it wasn't very organized. Out of those three responses, I like the second one better than the first and the third response. The first response simply had too many different ideas, right? But you didn't really have good supporting detail for all of those ideas, so you needed more focus. The third speech, you needed a better organizational strategy. So the change I would like to make about my country is its healthcare system. And then you could talk about how you wanted to change it or why it needed to be changed. First, it needs to be changed because the doctors provide low quality service. Or another reason why I would like to change the healthcare system is the unavailability of the access to the doctors when I'm sick or something. So you could probably organize that idea just a little bit better than what you did. All right, so I think we're good. So right now, I think we just went over, I think, all of the different lessons that you just posted. So I think I've given you all the feedback that you need and all of these different speaking tasks. And anyway, thank you for doing the assignment. And I look forward to hearing from you again in the near future.